back from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business, your daily Kickstarter. I'm Andrew Barija this morning, driving your business. And well, quite lots of very interesting and amazing conversations coming up onto the program. But of course, before we proceed with our business insight this morning, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which have already opened. Now, for you to be a part of this is quite simple. *292# is the code, which will enable you to get there. And you will be available with a number of options where you will be able to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 you get in shillings. But of course, you can still choose to invest more. But Zabo says, well, bring 15,000, let's grow together. Now, the markets open at 8:15 a.m. running to 3:15 p.m. And this is effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays. But amazing enough, this week we don't have any public holidays. So you're running all the way to Friday to trade. It's the 21st century. How do you not own bonds? It's the new normal for you to own government bond securities. And well, it's the future. Zabo says, my money, my future. And Doltex East Africa says, do something new for yourself come the year 2023. Well, now heading straight into our business insight, maybe just a preamble in here. Last week, the parliament, of course, passed the Islamic banking law. And it's now just waiting for the president to assign to it. Though there was a little bit of delay, and the majority of it was in regards to interest. And I remember the members of parliament were actually told to harmonize regarding that, as some where it looked like, some were saying that it doesn't look right. You get 100 million, take back 100 million. But what we call the profits, which some people are calling us the profits, some of them, people that knew this law very well, were saying what you call profits are actually transaction costs, or what we call as markup, but it's not profit. It's like the money, the fee you incur when you're returning back the money, but it's not the profit. And now, with effect from that, some banks will be liable to provide Islamic banking packages. So you can enter into a bank or any financial institution and you tell them, I need an Islamic banking package. It has now passed. But of course, we need to understand, as we are getting ready for this new phase, this new normal, what is Islamic banking like? How does it work? And how is it going to influence us as a country? Uganda. Now, that's why I'm joined with Nanteza Nadia. He's a marketeers and communications associate of Hijaz Finance, and she's going to be giving us more further aspects of Islamic banking. You're very welcome on the show, Nadia. And yeah.
You were talking about what it means to be interest-free.
Interest-free. I mean, there was that aspect that really caused quite lots of, I'm borrowing back 100 million.
Yes.
I'm taking back 100 million. Mm-hmm. So remember, I'm paying workers.
Yes.
I'm a bank. I have to meet administration costs, licenses,
and then taxes.
Taxes. How do you handle that?
All right. I'm obviously going to give reference to Hijaz Finance, considering it's an Islamic financial institution.
Yeah.
Right now, operating at a SACCO level, but it is able to implement some of these policies, obviously, in terms of Islamic finance. So when you look at Islamic finance, it's a very broad term.
Yeah, okay.
And the key aspect is like the financial aspects of life to be Sharia compliant.
Sharia compliant.
Now, being Sharia compliant means we have sayings from the Quran,
okay,
where Allah says particularly, do not do this in your finances.
Okay.
When you are trading, do not do this, and you can do this and that. So we shall obviously give examples and see. Yeah.
Very interesting on that part. Anyway, now let's get back to, explain to the viewer what is Islamic banking and how does it really work in brief.
In brief,
yeah.
As we've said that.
You're talking about Islamic financing.
Yes, it is Sharia compliant.
Yeah.
So all the financial transactions are expected to be Sharia compliant. Now, there is in the banking sector, there is saving, there is credit, and there is investment.
Okay.
So in every aspect of the services any bank can provide, there is a Sharia law to govern it. That is basically what is Islamic banking is going to be all about.
Okay. Now, of course, taking a look at, before we get into its impact and how is it going to influence us, let's get back to that aspect. How does it really add up of no profit, and yet you have to incur costs?
Yes. Okay, we talked about there is profit and interest. Now, we shall have to redefine what interest is.
What is interest?
You see, I normally tell people interest is gotten off loans.
Okay.
That is, you've borrowed some money and someone is, you're supposed to pay them an extra so that they can exist. And Allah in the Quran says, no.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But He says you can keep on the trade. So that means there is expected profit.
How?
Now, there are certain contracts in Islamic finance, for instance, the Murabaha contract that is actually implemented at Hijaz Finance.
Okay.
Murabaha is whereby we can give you credit and we still expect a profit. Now, these are not exaggerated profits, obviously.
A profit in terms, isn't that, okay, like...
Let's give an example of maybe land. You want to purchase land at maybe 20M and you do not yet have the 20M.
The 20M, yes.
Yes, so as you approach Hijaz, you're going to, after meeting all the requirements, obviously, we shall have to see how do you get the land. Are we purchasing this land for you and then you repurchase from us?
Wait, you purchase the land, so the institution purchases the land for me, so I buy the land from the institute?
Yes, that is possible.
Okay.
And then that means that if you are buying from the institution is now allowed to sell to you at a price that is favorable to it, still not exaggerating the prices. So that means we can sell maybe the land at 21M.
Okay. You can
price
sell me the
not
land.
very exaggerated.
Okay.
You're still going to pay in a particular period of time in terms of installment.
Okay.
So I think those are some of very, very favorable terms of dealing with credit.
Well, and I think it's wise that way. I mean, so that means that is applicable to all different financial institutions. They can apply that.
If in case they obviously adapt
you mentioned the
Murabaha contract. Yeah, there are a variety of other contracts.
Yeah.
Some of them are partnership contracts whereby we're going to bring in the money and you're going to maybe bring in the skills and we give you time to, do the game, make profits, and we share.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see, this is attracting investors in the country and it is also giving room. People do not have capital. They do not have capital and they don't know where and how to start. And it is very funny starting with a loan where you're supposed to pay with a very high interest.
High interest, absolutely true. You mentioned about investors coming in. Do we have scenarios where, or success stories of people that have been able to benefit from Islamic banking? Because people seem to be saying, I mean, when people are crying out there of the hardships going on, talking about the central bank rate is high, the loan interest is too high, but nobody mentions about Islamic banking. Are they just not aware about it?
I think the fact is we've not yet done enough learning about what Islamic banking is and how it can actually be operated to benefit the people.
Okay.
In Uganda, it is at a very low scale that these people have benefited from Islamic banking because the institutions are still very few in the country. Now, I can only say Hijaz Finance at the moment because even Hijaz is operating at a circle level. That means it is not getting in so very big businesses. But yes, we see a bit of small trading being improved. However, I'll give an example of countries like Malaysia. Now, when you read about how Malaysia has grown, you find that Islamic finance has played a very big role in its financial growth. So that means it can be very applicable and it is something that can, change the dynamics of trade and economy generally in the country. Yes.
Wow. Very interesting. In most cases when we try to talk about policies, we normally dwell on benchmarking, taking a look at where have these policies succeeded somewhere else, and that is enough to give us a decision to know what to decide at that particular point in time. And maybe, and also we want to know, do you think Uganda is ready for this at this particular point in time?
I think Uganda is ready because we have sent off people to study what Islamic finance is, and we have institutions that right now are offering Islamic financial courses. So it means we are developing the manpower, and at the end of the day, it is only after we put these institutions into place that these people can utilize the knowledge that they've gotten. And another thing regarding the economic state of the country. Yeah, we are. I cannot say sinking because everyone is playing their part and we are fighting
exactly.
tooth and nail. So for us to push the economy further, I think we need the Islamic financial instruments. You see, it is going to check the conventional instruments. It means maybe because we're going to increase the institutions that are going to be operating in the financial industry, we are giving room for competition. And you know what competition does? Yeah, create quality. And obviously when it comes to finance, we are reducing the interest rate, because at the end of the day, the policies are going to be able to balance, to ensure a balance. It's not going to be like Islamic finance, being interest-free, dropping everyone out there to Islamic finance, and then they leave out the conversion. It's not going to be like that. The policies, when you see the taxes, they're going to ensure that at least there is some evenness in collection of the taxes, and it will obviously push the Islamic financial industry to maybe up its game in the country for those institutions that have already been established. And also now the other conventional institutions are going to still revise themselves and see how best can we do this.
Well, that's very interesting. And you've mentioned all these aspects, the beauties that are coming with Islamic financing, how it has led to economic growth and development. But you see, the only challenge I feel like we have in our country, Uganda, is more of we don't do things from the perspective of the nation. We do most of our things from the perspective of me. How am I benefiting? It's about me. I don't care about what my generations are going to really face into. Now, do you really think people are going to be, talking about financial institutions mainly, are going to be willing to adjust to offer an Islamic banking package? Because I see quite an issue there, a very serious issue, by the way, because people want exaggerated profits, making all these huge chunks of money. So what kind of mindset change? Now, you as people that are already into the industry, what role are you playing to make sure that you spread the gospel of Islamic banking to the rigid financial institutions? I'm not saying, I didn't mention names, but some of them that are out there that might find it hard to adapt.
Thank you. You see, that is why I said it's going to check the conventional financial institutions. Now, when the policies are there, we personally, I'll say on behalf of Hijaz, we are sensitizing the people. And we see that we do have clients, and they're embracing. Moreover, even non-Muslims, it means there is hunger for this.
There is hunger.
Yes. So any business, what does it want? Sells to create profit at the end of the day. Yes. So if the other institutions realize how profitable this can be, I think they'll be able to embrace it. You see, the policies are allowing them to open up a window so they can practice this alongside the conventional
policy.
Yes. So I think the industry has not yet fully understood what it actually means, but with the supporting policies, obviously, it is going to push us to learn more, to understand how can we actualize this. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to lose your clients just because you cannot provide a certain service. Yes, we have people, you look, this is more like financial inclusion. The Ugandans have not fully utilized the banking sector.
That's true.
So if you can tap, that small, I'm not going to even say small, because it is a large number of people that are really interested in the free interest kind of services. So if we can bring them closer, we can get them to saving in interest-free programs. We can get them to get credit in more favorable conditions. I think it is going to grow generally the trading industry in the country, investment, and the banking industry itself.
Maybe before we get into the break, the last aspect in here, does Islamic, do the institutions that are into Islamic banking have offers, for example, those extra, talking about Muslim banking, Muslim banks, like bond securities, those diverse aspects where people can invest money, treasury bonds, and...
some of them are allowed to happen. For example, there can be Islamic stocks happening.
We have Islamic stocks.
Yes. Yeah. Though not yet in Uganda, obviously, but some of them can happen. Now, it's going to take us to understand how Islamic finance operates. It is beyond just interest-free.
Okay.
It is more of what is right and what is wrong in terms of trading. Yeah, so there is the too much uncertainties, the too much unfairness is completely not allowed. It is out of bounds when it comes to Islamic finance. So it is going to check all these investment programs that are non-fair, that are very exploitative. Yeah, you know. So at the end of the day, you see, they do exist. Not in Uganda yet, but all we need to do is to understand how basically we can apply them.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely interesting. It's 23 minutes past 9 in our business insight this morning, and of course discussing Islamic banking as a key aspect in here for the country Uganda. We've been, of course, taking a look at the different challenges, not really necessarily, but quite a few concepts in here that how this really actually functions. And my guest this morning is Nantes Nadia. He's a marketeers and as communications associate. He does finance, giving us this particular insight in regards to Islamic banking. You walk into the bank and you tell them, I want an Islamic banking package. But before you ask for it, get to understand how does it operate. Well, before, of course, that is how aspects really need to work out. And now it's 24 past 9. Let's get into the break. But don't forget, the markets on the Zabo platform are already operating as I speak right now. *92# is simply the code for you there, which will avail you with a number of options where you will be able to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now the markets open at 8:15 a.m. running all the way to 3:15 p.m. effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends or the public holidays when these markets can't be accessed. But despite the fact you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge money, something which I believe is very key and vital for your personal growth and development as a trader financially. Now Zabo says, my money, my future, and Altec East Africa tells you, do something new for yourself. It's the year 2023. Now let's get into the break at 25 minutes, and when I return, we shall be wrapping this up. Of course, getting to understand further what is Islamic banking, and of course we shall dwell largely more on what are the possible obstacles that might limit this and what is the way out.